Hello guys, welcome back sa another accounting tutorial. Ang topic natin ngayon ay cost of capital. No, actually part 'to ng financial management, no. Eh, kadugtong 'to ng capital budgeting. Pero medyo malayo na siya. No, as compared dun sa pinaka-topic talaga ng capital budgeting. No, so relax lang, mas kaya mo na 'to ngayon and magigets mo 'to. All right? Okay. So ano ba muna ang cost of capital? No? Ang cost of capital po is the minimum required rate of return a company must earn on its investments to satisfy its investors and maintain firm value. No? Kumbaga ba, yun yung hurdle rate that the project must generate above this threshold to be considered worthwhile. No? For example, meron hurdle kasi. For example, luksong baka. No? Kapag nakalukso ka doon, di ba? Or kapag nalagpasan mo yung obstacle, no? Considered ka as worthwhile. No, yung obstacle na yun, cost of capital yun. Yun yung minimum required rate of return na dapat ma-generate ng project na yun para ma-satisfy mo yung investors. No, for example, ang minimum required rate of return 15%. O kapag nakalagpas ka diyan, o acceptable. Oh, if yung return is greater than 15%, they accept mo. Ba? What if yung return is less than yung minimum required rate of return? Ay naku, i-reject mo yan. No? Reject mo yung project. Okay? So yun lang yung sinasabi nito. No? Cost of capital is also called hurdle rate, required rate of return, cut-off rate, opportunity cost of capital. No? Ang dami pong tawag sa kanya pero iisa lang naman yung pinupunto niya. Iisa lang naman yung sinasabi niya. No? So wag kang magirito dyan. Alright? No? So ano-ano ba yung mga sources ng capital? No? For example, pag gagawa ka ng negosyo, kailangan mo ng puhunan. O yung puhunan na yun, pwede mong utangin. No, sinong source mo diyan? Mga creditors, mga bangko, o kung sino pang gusto mong kamag-anak na pwede mong mapanghiraman ng pera para mag-start na yung negosyo mo. O capital pa rin yun. Bibigyan ka nila ng capital. No, ang mga creditors po, no, ang capital na binibigay nila in the form of long-term debt. No, hindi short-term ha, hindi accounts payable lang, no, hindi accrued expenses lang, long-term, pangmatagalan. No? So, paano mo i-compute yung cost of capital niya? Naka-after tax dapat yung cost of capital. No? So, I stands for interest. No? So, ito po yung interest rate. Tapos, i-after tax mo siya. No? So, 100% ibawas mo yung tax rate. No? Ito, given yan sa problem. Ha? Sasabihin naman yan sa problem kung magkano yung tax rate. Huwag mong huhulaan. No? Or wag ka mag-iimbento ng tax rate. No, sumunod ka dun sa problem. Alright? No, so ano pa? Pwede rin mga stockholders, pwede rin silang magbigay ng capital. Unang source mo dyan, preferred. Yung mga preferred stockholders in the form of preferred stock. O paano naman yung computation ng cost of capital nila? Preferred dividends per share over current market price or net issuance price. No? Relax lang. Mamaya isa-isahin naman natin 'to, no? Don't worry, nile-layout ko lang ano yung kailangan mong abangan. No, ano yung kailangan mong i-expect sa discussion na 'to. No, so sino pa? Common stockholders in the form of common stock. O paano ang computation ng cost of capital niyan? Dividend growth model or capital asset pricing model. Na mamaya pag-uusapan din natin yan. No? O paano naman sir kung mix? No? Ang nagbigay ng capital, inutang mo tapos may mga stockholders ka. O dun papapasok yung weighted average cost of capital. Ia-average mo na lang siya. Siyempre, baka nung namuhunan ka, nung nagtayo ka ng negosyo, may part doon na inutang mo, may part doon na may mga stockholders ka. O doon papasok yung kahalagahan ng weighted average cost of capital. May utang, tapos may equity. No, so anong computation niyan? After tax na cost of debt plus cost of equity. Alright? So sa part 1 natin, ito. Part 1 ng discussion natin, ito. Tapos sa part 2 natin, yung CAPM, tapos itong weighted average cost of capital. Alright? So, yan lang yung kailangan mong i-expect. May mga additional pa naman sa part 2. Okay, so simulan natin ang mga bagay-bagay sa cost of debt. Bakit po tinawag yan na cost of debt? Yun po kasi yung effective rate that a company pays on its borrowed funds. Siyempre, yung funds kasi na meron yung kumpanya, binaro niya lang yun. Hiniram niya lang yun. In return, may interest yun. Yun yung tawag doon, cost of debt. Effective rate that a company pays dun sa hiniram niyang pera. And remember, yung cost of debt po, included yan after tax sa cost of capital. Because yung tax deductibility of interest reduces the effective burden ng company. Remember, ang interest expense po, diba? Pag tumaas ang interest expense mo, pababa yung income. Diba? Ano mangyayari sa net income mo? Mas bababa. Or sige, income na lang. Mas bababa. Pag mas mababa ang income mo, mas mababa ang income tax na babayaran. So, kumbaga ba, yung interest nito, yung interest expense kasi, nasasama yan sa computation ng income. And pag na-reduce yung effect, yung tax, yung tax payment ng isang company, syempre, mababawasan yung burden nila. Kaya kailangan mong i-after tax yung cost of debt. Again, pumapasok yan sa income statement, kaya naka-after. Alright? Yun lang yung kailangan mong tandaan dito. Okay? So, anong formula niyan? After tax dapat, di ba? Yung interest rate, ibibigay, tapos i-after tax mo. For example, if a company borrows at 8% interest and has a 30% tax rate, ano yung after tax rate of interest? And the 8% times 100 minus 30%, that's 70%. I-ano mo na lang sa decimal, i-convert mo na lang. So, 8% times 0.70, that's going to be 0.08 times 0.70, 5.6%. Alright? So, dapat naka-after tax. So, meron din naman tayong tinatawag na yield to maturity. Or ito po yung market-based measure ng cost of borrowing for a company. Dapat kasi, syempre, nakabase ka sa market pag nagbaborrow ka. It tells us what investors demand in return for lending money through bonds. Ano ba yung dinedemand ng mga investors in return kapalit nung pinahiram nilang pera? The cost of debt is often estimated using the YTM of a company's outstanding bonds. So, paano mo i-estimate yung cost of debt? Gamit po, generally or usually, itong yield to maturity. Okay? So, anong formula mo dyan? Alam ko, medyo bago to. Interest payments. I-plus mo dun sa par value minus present value over maturity period. Tapos, par value times 0.40, present value times 0.60. Sir, bakit po nakaganyan? Ang YTM po kasi sinosolve yan through trial and error. Or meron tayong financial calculator. Now, itong mga magagaling na financial authors, ang nabanggit nila na ang closest approximation ng YTM is kapag minultiply mo yung par value sa 0.40, tas minultiply mo yung present value sa 0.60. May mga ibang authors, akong na-meet nung college ako, 0.50 minumultiply nila. Tapos dito, 0.50 ulit. 50-50. Pero ang pinaka close talaga na approximation, 60-40. Okay? So, alalahanin mo yan. And remember, yung interest payments po, nakabase yan sa par value. Okay? And remember, yung YTM yan, naka-before tax. So, kapag na-compute mo yung yield to maturity, hindi pa yun yung cost of debt. Kasi kailangan mo pang i-after tax si YTM. Kasi si YTM naka-before tax edi after tax mo pa para makuha mo yung after tax cost of debt. Alright? No? So, tignan natin sa problem na to. Temple Incorporated is issuing a 1,000 par value bond that pays 8% annual interest and matures in 15 years. Investors are willing to pay $950 for the bond and Temple faces a tax rate of 35%. What is Temple's after-tax cost of debt on the bond where interest is paid semi-annually? Okay. So, tingnan uli natin yung formula. Anong sabi ko? Sa interest payments, nakabase ka sa par value. No? Simulan natin. Sir, paano po nakuha yung interest payments mo? 'Di ba? Sabi ko, par value 1,000, i-multiply mo dun sa annual interest rate na 8%. Sir, bakit naka-divided by 2? Kasi po, semi-annual yung pagbayad niya ng interest. So, 2 beses sa isang taon nagbabayad siya. So, yung 8% kasi naka-annual yan eh. Kailangan mo semi-annual. Di i-divide mo by 2 para maging semi-annual. No? Kumbaga ba, diba? 40K yung kasi ito 1,000 times 0.8 0.08 that's 80. I-divide mo by 2 that's 40. So 40 tuwing kalagitnaan ng taon yung binabayaran niya. Alright? Tapos plus mo diyan yung par value minus present value. Now ito magkaano to separate mo yan. No? I-separate natin sila. No? Yung par value mo, 1,000. Ilan yung present value? Investors are willing to pay 950 for the bond. Yun po yung present value niya. No? Tapos, yung maturity period niya po, 30. Bakit? Hindi 50 years. Bakit hindi 15 years rather? Kasi po again, semi-annual ka. I-multiply mo na naman sa 2. No? Kasi 2 beses sa isang taon ka nagbabayad ng interest. So, yung interest payment mo, 30 times or 30 times ka magbabayad ng interest. Alright? Tapos, yung par value mo, multiply mo ng 0.40, yung present value mo, multiply mo ng 0.60. O, di ba? Nakumpleto mo na? Alright? So, ano lang to? Analysis lang. Tapos, understanding kung anong nangyayari sa problem. Okay? So, input na natin. Diba? 1,000 times 0.80, that's 80. Tapos, 1,000 minus 950, that's 50. O, 15 times 2, that's 30. No? Tapos, yung baba, 400 yan. Tapos, 570. Alright? So, tuloy pa natin. 80 divided by 2, that's 40. Tapos, 50, plus mo ulit. No? Ipla-plus mo po ulit yung 50 divided by 30, that's 1.67. O, tapos yung baba, 400 plus 570, ang denominator natin, 970. Hindi kompleto na. 40 plus 1.67. No? So, magiging 41.67 yan, i-divide mo sa 970, that's going to be 4.29%. Remember, ang YTM, naka-before tax yan. So, kailangan mo siyang i-after tax pa. No, paano mo i-after tax? Diba? Kunin mo yung tax rate na 35%, ibawas mo sa 100% yan. So, that's going to be 0.65. No? So, 4.29 times 0.65, that's 2.79%. No? Huwag po kayo mag-alala sa mga problem solving kasi na multiple choice. Hindi naman exact na after-tax cost of debt yung hinahanap, magkakalapit yan. Pwedeng sabihin sa problem, 2.8% o closest answer. No? Hindi naman yan magkakatabi na 2.76, 2.77. No? Minsan, ang choices, 5%. No? O, kapag alam mo yung formula, marirealize mo na or makro-cross out mo na yung mga maling sagot. No? So, ang kailangan mo lang ditong tandaan, yung formula, tapos i-after tax mo siya. Doon pa lang, okay ka na. Alright? So, yun po yung after tax cost of debt. No? So, tignan ulit natin another problem dito sa second problem natin. A corporation has a series of 8% coupon bonds outstanding with a 1,000 par value. The bonds mature in 10 years and currently sell for 830. If new bonds are issued, the issuance cost is expected to be 30 pesos per bond. The corporation's marginal tax rate is 25%. What is the marginal after-tax cost of debt for the corporation? Assume annual interest payments. No, ganun ulit. Latag ulit natin yung formula, interest payments mo based yan sa par value. Pero ngayon, maidadagdag akong bago. Yung present value dyan, ang pwede mong gamitin dyan, minsan, net proceeds. No, remember, yung present value, yan lang din yung net proceeds. No? Bakit yan relevant? No, pakita natin mamaya. No? Yung interest payments mo, based sa par value, ilan yung par value mo? 1,000. Ilan yung interest rate mo? 8%. No, ngayon, walang divided by 2 dyan. Kasi naka-annual ka naman. No, annual interest payment ka. O divided by 1 yan, same lang. Walang magbabago dyan. Naka-annual interest payment ka. No? Tapos ngayon, i-plus mo naman yung par value minus present value. Nabanggit ko, yung present value, yun lang din ho, yung net proceeds. Paano kunin yung net proceeds? 830 na selling price, ibawas mo dyan yung issuance cost na 30 pesos per bond. Oh, i-divide mo ngayon yung maturity period dyan na 10 years. Sir, bakit hindi ulit minultiply sa 2? Kasi annual lang. So, 10 years or isang beses sa isang taon ka lang magbabayad ng interest. Tapos i-multiply mo yun sa 10, so 10 years talaga yung maturity period. No? Tapos, syempre, ganun ulit, yung fixed na par value, 40%, present value or yung net proceeds, 60%. Oh, kumpleto na. 80 plus 200 over 10. No? So, 1,000 minus 800, that's 200 over 10. Now, may tanong ako. What if negative yung nandito? For example, no? For example, hindi yan 1,000. Gawin nating 700. E di 700 minus 800. No? Huwag kang kabahan. Normal yan. Okay lang yan mag-negative. Di magiging negative 100 over 10. So that's negative 10. So 80 plus negative 10, di magiging 70. No? So okay lang mag-negative. Ang mangyayari, mababawasan yung interest payment na 80 pesos mo. No? So it's either positive or negative yan. Wag lang sana maubos yung 80 pesos na interest payment mo. So yung 80 pwedeng tumaas, pwedeng bumaba. No? It's normal. No? Baka may ma-encounter kang mga problem na ganun, normal lang yun. Positive or negative yan, okay lang. No? Tapos yung baba, 1,000 times 40 or 40%, that's 400. Tapos 480 naman yung net proceeds mo. So, tuloy mo ulit. So, 80 plus 20, di ba? 200 divided by 10, tapos 880. So, that's going to be 100, di ba? 100 over 880. That's 11.36% na yield to maturity. Pero remember, before tax yan. Anong hinahanap? After tax cost of debt. O, edi multiply mo ulit sa net of tax. So 100% minus 25%, that's 75%. No? Kunin mo yung 75% ng 11.36 times 0.75, that's 8.52%. Yun po ang after-tax cost of debt. Okay? So, sana madami kang natutunan dyan. No? So, tuloy naman natin ngayon. Paano kung tinanong, ano yung current yield? No? Ano naman yung current yield, sir? Same problem, but different question this time. Current yield yung tinatanong. Formula lang. Basta maalala mo lang yung formula ng current yield na interest at first year over net price. Paano mo kukunin, sir, yung interest ng first year? Ayun po, yung par value, i-multiply mo dun sa 8% na interest rate. No? Tapos, net price. Sir, ano po yung net price? Eh di po yung 830, bawas mo dun sa 30 na issuance cost. Kaya nga, net price. No? O net proceeds, di ba? Okay? So, that's 800. So, 1,000 times 8%, that's 80 over 800. Ang current yield natin, 10%. Alright? So, pasakalye lang na what if may bagong tanong or may ibang tinanong. Okay? No, so, mag-jump naman na tayo ngayon sa cost of preferred stock. No? Ang cost of preferred stock po is the rate of return required by investors who hold the company's preferred shares. Siyempre, yun yung ine-expect na return ng mga investors na nag-invest ng preferred stocks. O kaya nga cost of preferred stock. No? Anong formula? Preferred dividend per share over current market price or net issue price. Oh, yan lang. Maalala mo lang yan. Na current market price or net issue price. O, ang ibang representation natin sa cost of preferred stock is KPS. No? Sa mga ibang authors, di ba? Parang representation ng K is cost. Diba? Hindi man literal na C. Ginawang K na lang. Pwede ring R. RPS. Kasi ito yung return na ina-expect ng mga preferred shareholders. Return or cost. No? Alright. So, pero syempre, ang pinaka-common kasi, para mas maalala mo talaga, ginagawa kong K na lang. Para hindi ka na malito, isa na lang. Para straightforward, maalala mo, cost yan, kaya letter K. No? Though hindi man ganun kaliteral. No? Para mas madali mong maalala. No? So, why it is not after tax? Hindi po natin ina-after tax ang preferred stock. Bakit kaya? Because dividends are non-tax deductible. No? The cost of preferred stock is calculated on a before tax basis because the firm bears the full burden of paying those dividends without any tax shield. Ang dividend nyo po, hindi yan expense. No? Hindi yan pumapasok sa income statement. No? Kaya wala kang tax shield. No? Hindi na dagdagan yung expense mo, hindi na bawasan yung income. Wala, hindi yan gumalaw or hindi yan pumasok sa income statement. No? Kaya ang dividend nyo before tax. No, kung kahit bigyan ka ng tax rate dyan, wag mong i-after tax ha. Kasi mamaya bigyan ka ng tax rate, uy, after tax ko nga to. Hindi. Sa cost of debt lang yun. Ang cost of preferred stock, hindi yan naka-after tax. Okay, so tignan natin sa problem na to. Yung preferred stock daw po ni Walt Disney currently sells for 36 pesos a share and pays 2.50 pesos dividends annually. What is the firm's cost of capital for the preferred stock? O may formula tayo, preferred dividend per share over current market price or net issue price. O, anong ibang representation? KPS. Preferred dividend per share, magkano? 2.50 dividends annually. Ilan yung current market price mo? Currently sell daw for 36 pesos. E di 2.50 divided by 36, that's 6.94%. No? 0.06944 or 6.94%. Alright, di ba? Napaka-straightforward lang. Formula-based ka lang talaga. O, tignan natin sa another problem na to. A corporation plans to issue some 100 pesos par preferred stock with a 5% dividend. A similar stock is selling on the market for 126 pesos. The corporation must pay flotation cost of 6 pesos per share. The income tax rate is 25%. What is the cost of preferred stock? No? Ano na ulit yung formula? Preferred dividend per share over current market price or net issue price. No? Paano mo kukunin yung preferred dividend per share? Walang binigay. Pero may binigay na par value ng preferred stock. Tapos, bibigyan mo daw sila ng 5% dividend nyo dyan. E di 100 times 5%. No? Tapos, ano yung current market price? Walang binigay, pero may binigay na net issue price. No? Magkano daw siya binibenta sa market? 126 Pero may babayaran kang flotation cost or issuance cost na 6 pesos per share. O inet mo siya. No? Net issue price niya is 120. O di 100 par value times 5%, that's 5 pesos over 120. O di yun na 4.17% or 0.04166. Remember, ignore mo yung income tax rate na 25%. No, kahit binigay dyan, wag mong pansinin. Ignore mo yan. No, kahit papansin, wag mong papansinin. Okay? No, so, let's jump naman na sa cost of common stock. No? Ang cost of common stock po is essentially the expected return demanded by equity investors estimated using models like dividend growth model or capital asset pricing model. No, itong cost of common stock, syempre yun yung ina-expect na return ng mga equity investors na nag-invest ng common stock. Now, ini-estimate to using two methods. No? Dividend growth model or capital asset pricing model. No? Pero sa part na to, sa lecture na to, unahin natin si dividend growth model. No? This is also called the Gordon growth model kasi kay Gordon pinangalan yan. No? Is a method used to estimate the cost of equity based on expected dividends and their growth. No? It assumes that dividends will grow at a constant rate indefinitely. Alright? So, anong formula? Ganito po. No? This D1 over KCS minus G. Diba? Where yung PO, that's the value of common stock. No? That's the price. That's the value of common stock. No, yung D1, yun po yung per share dividend expected at the end of year 1. At the end of year 1. Tapos, yung KCS, that's the required return ng common stock. Tapos yung G, yan yung constant growth rate in dividends. Okay, so ito, labanan lang to ng formula. Maalala mo, okay ka na. No? So, D1 over KCS minus G to get the value of common stock, P0. Alright? So, tignan natin sa problem na to. A corporation just paid a dividend of 12 pesos per share on its stockholders last year. The dividends are expected to grow at a constant rate of 4 pesos per year indefinitely. If investors require a 10% return on the corporation stocks, what is the current price? No? So, gamitin ulit natin yung formula, di ba? Pero this time, napansin-pansin na ang meaning ng D1 is yun po yung per share dividend expected at the end of year 1. So, hindi mo pwedeng gamitin itong dividend nyo na 12 pesos per share kasi yan po yung last year. Ang kailangan mo at the end of year 1. Ano bang ibang tawag sa D1? Dividend next period, will pay dividends or expected to pay. No? Pero kasi, ang binigay last year, hindi naman yan yung dividend next period or hindi naman yan yung dividends na babayaran ng company or yung ina-expect nilang dividend yun. Pero ang binigay, just paid. Diba? So, past tense, diba? Last year talaga, halatang halata. Ang kailangan mo at the end of year 1 eh. So, ang binigay dyan, D0. No? So, iba po ang D1 sa D0 ha. Kapag sinabing D0, yun po yung last year dividends or ibang tawag dyan, currently pays dividends. Ang sinabi kasi last year dividends eh. Anong gagawin mo? Kailangan mo siyang i-convert into D1. Para maging D1 yan, yung D0, imumultiply mo sa 1 plus growth rate. Growth rate ng alin po? Yun po yung growth rate ng dividend nyo na magkano? 4% per year. Kaya nga useful yung growth rate natin, 4% per year. So, magkano ba yung D0 natin? 12 pesos per share times 1 plus G or 1 plus 0.04. So, 12 times 1.04, magkano yan? 12 times 1.04, that's 12.48. So, nakuha mo na yung D1 mo. Alright? So, may mga tricks and mga shortcuts lang na kailangan mong maalala na kapag na hindi lahat ng binibigay sa'yo, yun yung ilalagay mo. No? Kaya minsan, kailangan mo din maging careful. No? Kailangan mo din maging aware dun sa problem. No? Uy, D0 to. D0 yung binigay kasi last year. Kailangan kong gawing D1. Paano? I-multiply ko sa 1 plus G. No? So, pwede mo nang i-insert. Magkano D1 mo? 12.48. Magkano yung required return sa cost of sa stock mo? Common stock, 10% return. Ibawas mo dyan yung growth rate na 4%. O, ilan makukuha mo? 6%. No? 6%. Hindi pwede mo siyang i-divide na. 12.48 over 0.06, converted yan na 6%. So, 12.48 divided by 0.06, that's 208 pesos. Yun po yung current price ng corporation stocks. Alright? No? So, yun po ang dividend growth model. No? From there, na-derive yung computation ng cost of common stock. No? Galing po ito dun sa dividend growth model. Yung kinompute natin po kanina, hindi pa yun yung cost of common stock, hindi pa yun yung cost of debt, hindi pa yung cost of preferred stock. No, parang introduction lang yun sa dividend growth model. Now, from that formula, na-derive itong cost of common stock natin na ganito. Alright? So, ano yung KCS? That's the common stockholders required rate of return. Ano yung D1? Common stock dividends for year 1. Tapos yung PCS, yun yung market price ng common stock. Tapos yung G, yun yung growth rate in dividends. Para bang na-derive lang talaga siya dun sa dividend growth model. Pero, nilipat-lipat lang natin. Okay? So, tignan natin. No? Or, gusto ko lang talagang ipaalala sa inyo na yung dividends to common shareholders are not tax deductible. Parang ganun lang din sa cost of preferred stock. No? Naka-before tax basis din siya. No? Unlike yung cost of debt, naka-after tax. Pero tong cost of common stock tsaka cost of preferred stock, before tax sila lagi. No? Pag may binigay na income tax rate, ignore mo iyon. Alright? No, so tignan natin sa problem na to. The Falcon Company daw is issuing a new common stock at a market price of 20 pesos or 27 pesos. Dividends at the end of the year is 1.45 and are expected to grow at an annual rate of 6% forever. What is the firm's cost of common equity capital? So, formula ulit. Maalala mo lang yan. Cost of common equity daw eh. Ano ulit yung mga representation niyan? D1, PCS, G, tsaka KCS. Ilagay na natin. Remember, yung D1, yun na po yung D1 na 1.45 kasi yun na po yung dividends at the end of the year. Nakuha mo na yung dividends at the end of the year na 1.45. Hindi yan dividends last year, kundi this year, dividends at the end of this year. Di yun, 1.45. Tapos, magkano daw ba yung price ng common stock? 27 pesos. So, ilagay mo din. Di 1.45 over 27, that's 0.0537. Then, don't forget to plus the growth rate na 6% or 0.06. No, alalahanin nyo po ha na lagi kang may pina-plus. Nung estudyante ako, nakakalimutan ko yan na mayroon palang plus G pa pala dyan. No? So, remember that. No? Na mayroon ka laging pina-plus dyan. No? Yun po yung growth rate. Para makuha mo dyan na cost of common stock mo is 0.1137 or 11.37%. Alright? No? So, tuloy natin. Dito naman sa cost of retained earnings. Ang daming cost, sir. O, relax lang. Kayang-kaya mo yan. No? This is actually the same as the cost of an equivalent fully subscribed issue of additional common stock, which is equal to the cost of common stock equity KCS. Ano pong ibig sabihin nun, sir? Yung cost of retained earnings, parehas lang ng formula dun sa cost of common stock. Hence, you can say na yung cost of retained earnings is equal to cost of common stock. O, di wala ka ng problema. O, basta, maalala mo lang yung formula. No? Huwag kang kakabahan. No? Kaya mo yan. Kaya mong maalala yung formula dyan. No? So, other one is cost of new issues of common stock. Paano naman kung in-issue mo yung common stock? Hindi siya galing sa retained earnings, kundi nag-issue ka ng bagong common stock. No? Anong formula mo dyan? Parang ganun lang din, pero nagkaiba lang dito sa denominator. Naka-NP siya. Bakit? No? Kasi po, proceeds yan from sale of new common stock less flotation cost. No? Or other term dyan, net proceeds. Ininet mo. Ibabawas mo yung flotation cost or yung issuance cost. Kasi nga, nag-issue ka ng bagong common stock. O, yun lang naman yung logic behind this formula. O, tapos yung G, ganun din, growth rate in dividends. Alright? So, tignan natin sa last problem natin. A company paid common stock dividends last year for 40 pesos per share. The common stock price is 250 pesos. Analysts have forecast the earnings and dividends to grow at an average annual rate of 6% for the foreseeable future. The issuance cost per share is 4 pesos. No? What is the cost of retained earnings? And what is the cost of new equity? Okay? So, simulan natin sa cost of retained earnings. No? And remember, sa cost of retained earnings, ini-ignore natin yung flotation cost or yung issuance cost. No? Ito po, hindi mo yan kino-consider sa formula mo. Hindi ka naka-net. Hindi ka naka-net pag retained earnings ka. Kasi ina-assume mo na hindi ka naman nag-issue ng bagong stock dyan. No? Cost of retained earnings yan. So, anong formula? Naka-price of common stock ka, hindi ka naka-net. Hindi ka naka-net proceeds. No? So, yung D1 mo, dividends last year. Uy, last year to ha, 40 pesos per share. So, naka-D0 ka dyan. Eh, ang kailangan mo, D1. O, di dapat 40 pesos times 1 plus growth rate na 6%. No? Anong formula ulit? D1 is equal to D0 times 1 plus G. No? So, ilan yung D0 mo? 40 pesos. Times, ilan ba yung growth rate mo? 1.06. No? Ilan yung growth rate mo? 6%. I-plus mo sa 1, that's 1.06. So, 40 times 1.06 no? Over 250. No? Yung common stock price natin, 250. Again, ignore mo yung flotation cost pag nasa cost of retained earnings ka. O, tapos, don't forget na i-plus yung G na 0.06. O, di yun, meron kang 42.4 na D1 over 250 no? Plus 0.06. No? Tuloy lang natin, that's 0.1696 plus, no? So ito, pag dinivide mo yan, makukuha mo to. Tapos i-plus mo yung 0.06. That's going to be 22.96% or 0.2296. No? Much better na i-convert mo muna siya. I-convert mo na lang siya into decimal point ha, kasi percentages talaga yung usapan dito sa cost of capital. No? Madalang lang namang lumabas yung decimal point. No? Madalas percentages tayo. Okay? So paano naman kung cost of new issues of common stock or yung number 2, new equity daw. Bagong equity yan, nag-issue ka ng bagong common stock. E di ininet mo. I-consider mo na ngayon yung issuance cost per share na 4 pesos. So, same formula, pero nakanet na yung denominator mo. 250 na stock price ng common stock, bawas mo yung 4 na issuance cost. O di yun, magiging 246 yung denominator mo, 42.4 over 246, no? That's 0.1724 or naka-round na yan, plus 0.06. So, ang makukuha mo, 23.24%. Alright? So, yun lang, no? Yun lang yung kailangan mong maalala. Formula talaga. No? Formula pala, talaga ang labanan dito. No? Maalala mo yan, kayang-kaya mo yan. No? Gusto ko lang ipaalala, no? May mga kailangan lang tayong tandaan or maalala. Yung cost of new issues of common stock will always be greater than the cost of existing issues of common stock or cost of retained earnings. Bakit po? Kasi 'di ba pag yung issues of common stock ninenet natin, yung naka-net proceeds yan. And remember, kapag yung denominator mo bumaba, yung magiging quotient niyan tataas. No? Kapag bumaba yan, yung denominator tataas to, yung quotient nila. O kaya yung cost of yung issues ng common stock will always be greater than the cost of existing issues ng common stock or cost of retained earnings. Kasi nga, sa existing issues ng common stock, hindi mo na yan nininet. Walang flotation cost dyan, ini-ignore mo yon. Alright? No? Pero, tandaan nyo rin na yung cost of long-term debt is typically less than the cost of preferred or common stock, partly because of the tax deductibility of interest. Kasi po, 'di ba yung cost of debt natin, lagi nating ina-after tax 'yan. O panalo 'yun kasi ina-after tax mo pa binabawasan mo pa. O total, talagang typically mas mababa 'yun kaysa sa cost of preferred or commons. All right? No, so magsagot tayo ng theory questions. Try nyo pong sagutan, no? Anong sabi dyan? Which of the following is not a component used in calculating the cost of capital? No? Hindi natin pinag-usapan dyan yung cost of short-term debt. No? Long-term debt lang tayo, common stock, preferred stock, retained earnings, di ba? Walang short-term debt yan. No? Hindi yan component, no, ng calculation natin ng cost of capital. Alright? Number 2, the discount rate that makes the present value of a bond's payment equal to its price is termed the. No, so kailangan niyo nang malaman to na yield to maturity po iyon. No, kumbaga para siyang internal rate of return ng bond assuming it's held to maturity and all payments are made as scheduled. Kumbaga ba pag diniscount mo daw yung present value ng bonds, magiging equal niya lang din yan sa price. No? Parang babalik lang din siya dun sa original price niya kapag ang ginamit mong discount rate is yung yield to maturity. No? So, ganun kahalaga yung discount rate na yield to maturity na yan. No? Kaya yun nga yung ginagamit natin sa computation ng cost of debt. No? Alright. So, number 3, what happens when a bond's expected cash flows are discounted at a rate lower than the bond's coupon rate? No, paano daw yung discount mo mas mababa than the bond's coupon rate? Anong mangyayari dyan? Letter. No? Explain natin. No? Kung anong ibig sabihin ng problem na yan. Discounted. Ibig sabihin, present value mo daw siya, tapos yung discount rate, mas mababa dun sa coupon rate. No? Anong mangyayari dyan? Diba? Remember, kapag yung nominal rate is greater than the effective rate, premium tayo. Pero yung nominal rate is less than effective rate, discount tayo. No? Ang ibang tawag sa nominal rate, coupon rate, or yun yung stated rate. No? Nasa ano pa to nasa intermediate accounting to pa to na part ng amortization. No? Pero ipakilala ko na sa inyo. Para bang kapag uutang ka kasi, dun sa inutang mo, may papel doon. Tapos may nakastate na yun yung interest payment na babayaran mo. So, nandun, coupon rate or yun yung stated rate. O kaya, ibang tawag dyan, nominal rate. O, anong ibang tawag sa effective rate, sir? Discount rate or yan yung yield to maturity, YTM. Now, kapag mas malaki si nominal kaysa kay effective rate, naka-premium tayo. No? And remember, kapag naka-premium, mas malaki ka sa par value. For example, no? Ang par value mo 1,000. Pero ang naging present value ng bonds, no? Remember, 'di ba doon sa YTM natin kanina, may par value, may present value, 'di ba? Paano ngayon kung mas malaki yung present value? For example, ang present value nung ano natin 1,200. Oh. Hence, we can say na naka-premium tayo kasi it costs more than the par value na 1,000 pesos. O paano naman sir kung discount? Mas malaki yung effective rate kaysa kay nominal rate para magkaroon ng discount. Hence, discount bonds cost less than the par value. Paano yan? For example, ang par value mo 1,000. Pero ang present value lang nung bonds, 950. Hence, we can say that the discount bonds cost less than the par value. Okay? So, kapag yung discount rate natin is lower than the bonds coupon rate, 'di ba? Yung discount rate daw ito mas mababa dun sa coupon rate. Hence, we can say that coupon rate is greater than the discount rate. Kaya naka-premium tayo. Hence, kapag naka-premium ka, yung price ng bonds increases. No? Because premium bonds cost more than the par value. Alright? So, yun lang yung gustong sabihin nito. No? No? So, wag yung muna masyadong i-overthink. Basta maalala mo lang, na-meet mo lang yung ganitong concept. Okay ka na dun. No? So, last few question. The most expensive source of financing for a firm is? Anong sagot nyo? No? Letter down. New common stock. No? Isa-isahin natin. Bakit hindi mahal yung debt? No? Usually kasi po yung debt, yun yung cheapest because nga meron tayong tax deductibility ng interest payments and lower risk for lenders. Siyempre, mga negosyo talaga, mga malalaking negosyo, no? Magbabayad sila ng utang. Kung wala sa pambayad ng utang, yung mga lenders na yun, may mga other, pwede pa silang mag-resort sa other, pwede silang kumuha ng asset ng company na yun. No? Kumbaga ba, may kapangyarihan yung mga lenders. Kaya lower risk yan. Tapos cheap din. Okay? Yung preferred stock naman, more expensive than debt. Pero, hindi deductible. Hindi tax deductible ang dividends. Pero less risky yan than common equity. Pero again, hindi pa yan yung most expensive. No? Less risky nga lang yan sa common equity. Tapos yung retained earnings, least costly equity since it doesn't involve issuing new shares. Hindi ka naman mag-i-issue ng bagong shares dyan eh. Wala kang gagastusin. Kung ano yung na-retain, yun na lang din. No? Kaya walang gastos, kumbaga. Kumbaga ba, parang nag-ipon, parang yung inipon mo dati, yun lang din yung pinangpuhunan mo. O, di ba? Cheap. Pero yung new common stock, expensive yan kasi meron po tayong tinatawag na flotation cost. No? Kasi may fees for issuing shares. No? Hence, yung mga investors, they demand higher returns due to greater risk compared to debt or preferred stock. O, kaya naman pala, kasi may flotation cost ka, may issuance cost ka, kaya expensive yung new issues of common stock. Alright? So, doon nagtatapos yung part 1 natin. No? Sana madami kang natutunan. No? So, sa part 2 ng cost of capital natin, ano yung kailangan mong i-expect? No? Una, yung capital asset pricing model or CAPM. Pangalawa, yung weighted average cost of capital. No? Pangatlo, yung retained earnings breakpoint. No? Ano lang natin yan, pasadahan lang natin kung paano ba yan nangyayari. And lastly, syempre, may mga theory questions pa tayo doon. Alright? So, Diyan lang tatapos ang part 1 ng video lecture natin for cost of capital, no? I hope marami kang natutunan and manlalambing na pa-subscribe naman, no? Malapit nang matapos yung video lecture ko. No, sa tingin ko medyo patapos na. Thank you sa pagsubaybay, no? Thank you. Bye-bye.